So when it came to implementation, we had a very, very tight timeline. I think we may hold the Handshake record for the fastest implementation. We did, and I think somewhere in the order of 6 weeks for the installation from start to finish. And it was ready to go a couple of weeks before the start of the academic year, which was our firm deadline.
I think the fact that we genuinely did implement it in 8 weeks is incredible, especially given all the barriers that were in our paths, external to the university and external to the Handshake environment. And, I think that's the thing that surprises people most when they ask me about what implementation was like, just how swiftly we were able to do that. And I think for me, the other thing that's really important is that we've implemented it and it's working, but it's possible to continually tweak our instance of it and how we work with it.
Handshake developed lots of credibility, not just with my area, but with stakeholders across the university through the integration process.
We had our implementation timeframe mapped out on a plan, and we worked through the tasks and activities as we navigated our way through the implementation phase. And that to me was super helpful. It was great. I could see where we were up to at any one point in time. I could see what we were coming up to, and I could see where we needed to focus our efforts.
The process outlined by Handshake was really useful. There were step-by-step guides, training and additional support as needed, essentially a ready-made plan for us to adopt internally.
I definitely reflect on the experience of implementing Handshake as a very positive one, very well organised in the process of what needs to happen at what time and who's responsible for what. And it's more about how Handshake talk to you, listen to you, really try and enhance their empathy with what you're trying to do. And that helps inform the development of the product.
Having access to really good data analytics that allow us to review and evaluate the impact of the work that we have with students across the various faculties and skills has been invaluable to the team.
What was also really good were the resources that were available. So I found that at any stage, I could very easily identify the resources that I needed for my particular role to do with certain functions that I was maybe trying to set up within Handshake. So that was really useful.
Our IT department said the integration is kind of now the roadmap of what they expect any partner to work towards in terms of the seamless nature of the integration with our archaic system.
The technical support I thought was really brilliant. There was a good mix in the approach of non-technical involvement of the service itself, but then also being willing to get into the technical nitty-gritty and being flexible on that with me and the developers working on our integrations. So to have tools like the importer and the documentation that comes along with that means that we and our employability service can do some of that data administration without that overhead of engaging too much with the supplier. That was one of the key factors when we were considering Handshake, was the fact that it's all cloud-based storage and it's a web app, and that gives us that inherent accessibility and functionality that we're kind of looking to move towards. It gives us better reliability because we're not having to host the data ourselves. It's also significantly cheaper because we're not having to maintain our own servers that are installed, that are carrying the application and serving the data on demand. That cloud infrastructure that drives the app and drives the data was built with IT administration in mind, in so much as certain services, like the Handshake importer, are built to enable some of those kind of deeper IT admin functionalities that perhaps previously you would have to be doing using certain server management tools.
We had regular meetings and check-ins with the Handshake team. As a result, it never felt like we were working on this alone.
There was a wealth of knowledge there that they had experience of working with other universities.
But any challenges, any issues that we had, Handshake were there to support. We had a project manager from Handshake and the main tech team to help us with any of the issues or challenges.
Following the implementation, the Handshake help desk have been super responsive, usually coming back within the hour or within hours. And even if it's just signposting me to docs, but often getting into a lot more technical things, forwarding on to other teams that can provide feedback. And I've never been left hanging by any support requests.
What we've seen was some really good engagement, some really simplified ways to launch a product, to launch a whole platform. And there was a lot of trust there in that. When we switched on, I felt that I could put my trust in the team at Handshake